Well, hey there, welcome to Worth It Wednesday. Every Wednesday we send a principle worth learning, a question worth answering, and a recommendation worth taking. We call it Worth It Wednesday. Today's principle is a simple one, but don't let its simplicity detract from its profundity, right? Because today's principle is that leaders take responsibility for the things they can control. Now, this is so important because the temptation of leaders is to take responsibility for the things they can't control. This is the advice that I constantly have to give myself, that we are also saying all the time within the Path for Growth community, is that you are responsible to people, you are not responsible for people. And this is an outrageously important distinction to make, because what can you not be responsible for? You cannot be responsible for people's actions, people's words, people's thoughts, people's attitude. And why is that? Well, because responsibility is the ability to respond. And if you don't have a degree of control over what someone says, then you can't have responsibility. Now, it's a real problem whenever we try to exert control over what someone says so that we can have responsibility. That does not go well. What that's called is an entire lack of boundaries, and it will not go well with you or with others if you try to do that. So what's the proper alternative? Instead of taking responsibility for the things you can't control and trying to impose yourself on someone else, take responsibility for the things you uniquely can. What can you uniquely control? Your words, your thoughts, your actions, your input, your attitude, your integrity, where you go to work every day, the cleanliness of your environment, what you put into your body, the way you spend your time, what you apply your attention to. It's amazing that whenever we actually have the guts to ask the question, what can I actually control? What can I actually be responsible for? It's amazing how much stuff immediately almost comes into purview just because we had the guts to ask the question. It's way easier to look at the things we can't control, spending 90% of our time focused on that, and then spend about 10% of the time on the things that we actually can. And it's so crazy because it's like, man, if we just flip that, spend 90% of our time on the things we actually control, you won't have time to take responsibility for everyone else. And it's amazing how, if I get myself in order, it's amazing how it's like my business almost automatically follows suit. Because when we say people follow your example, that's not just like a cliche phrase that is inspiring but not real. That's like super real. It's like hyper real. Like your example, what if we took what you do every single day right now, principally, and we duplicated it and we cloned it in your business? Would your business get better or would it get worse? That's what we're talking about here. And so take responsibility for the things you can control. Y'all have a killer Wednesday.